Good morning. Hey, Kurt. See some familiar faces in here. I am so glad to be here. Thank you so much for listening for a few minutes. I promise I'm not going to take much of your time. If you can take one thing away today, that's awesome. I usually find in these situations where when I get to speak to a group, I usually walk away having gained a lot more than those in the crowd. So thank you so much for just a few minutes of your attention. And just thinking, I was just talking to Don a little bit, man, we're in a crazy world right now, aren't we? Things are absolutely crazy. And the thing I love about this, the thing I love about getting to do what we get to do is there's a peace in the midst of all of it if you chase the Prince of Peace. If you keep your attentions to the right places, and I don't know why I'm talking about this. A famous pastor at Church on the Move once said, why am I talking about? It caused me to get off on that. But man, there's a filter. There's a filter, and I have to apply it to my life. There's a filter of things I let come in here. I have to guard my mind. I have to take care of it, and I have to make sure that if I'm going to be everything I need to be for the people that my circle of influence, if I'm going to be everything I need to be, then I need to be careful that I take care of this, that I take care of this. I take care of all these things, these resources that God has given me. We'll talk about that just a little bit, but Don fashioned me a football coach, and I'm not anymore. The season of 2016 was my last season. Man, what a ride it was. It was so much fun. I got to be around a lot of awesome people. That was the best part. We got to build young men. It wasn't about winning, but it's just a bunch of little things that you put them all together, and you add them up, and some wins may come out on the other side. But it was about much more than that. But I've been so fortunate. May God has blessed my life. You're looking at a little short, kind of chubby guy from Adair, Oklahoma, son of Vernon and Doris. They'll be 85 and 84 this year, which just blows me away. Raised in a Christian home, always had Jesus in our home, God in our home. They lived it. They didn't just talk about it, they lived it. And I was so fortunate. God blessed me in that way. And I chose, just like a lot of red-blooded American boys, I chose some paths that were probably not very good as I left the nest of Vernon and Doris and did some things that just weren't good. And God has always, he's pursued me. Guys, did you know he pursues us? He will pursue you. He will run you down like a crazed dog. And he did me. He ran me down. I couldn't run anymore. He wore me out, and I'm glad he did. But here I am. Man, I've been blessed. Went to college out of high school. This will be a small testimony, and then we're going to go on to some more things, maybe a little more interesting. But went to college and did the college thing, and man, it was everything that it was described to be and way too much more. I was on the 6-year plan in college, so went to college, flunked out, all those other things you do down there. Came back. Worked for Dad for a couple of years. Dad was in the steel business, had a couple of steel companies. And Dad, I'm pretty sure, I've never asked him, but I'm pretty sure that he gave me every one of the jobs. I thought I was going to be the new owner of my dad's companies, that I was going to be the heir apparent. And so he put me down at the very bottom of the food chain. And I think he just was trying to show me that, no, this is not what you want to do. No, you're not going to be, by the way, taking over these companies. You're going to be out there in the steel yard, and this is not what you want to do for the rest of your life. And he pretty much convinced me that. It went quick, but I did learn some things. I learned how not to be lazy. I learned how to go out and work hard, and that it was not acceptable to do anything differently. But it did taught me to go back to school, and I did, and I got finished. And I'm from a family of educators. My grandmother was an educator in a one-room schoolhouse. My mother was an educator for 30-some years. And so that's what I did, not because they did it, but it was an example, and it's something that I feel like God called me to do. I got into it. I went to a little school, Crescent, Oklahoma, Central Oklahoma. It was absolutely just a little bitty farming town just north of Edmond, 25 miles. And I walked out there. I'd been to my grandfather's funeral, and I'd gotten the job, and he passed. And then I'd gone, and literally the next day, I went to Crescent, Oklahoma, and I walked out there, and I was in a wonderland of athletes, and I couldn't believe it. I really wanted to be a basketball coach. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I aspired myself to be in high school and beyond. And I went out there, and it started that way, kind of. I was going to be coach football, basketball, baseball, all the things that you do in a little town around a bunch of cool people. And I walked into just a nest of athletes that could play the game of football. In 3 years there, we won 38 games. It had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with a bunch of really good athletes. We won a state title. Probably would have won another if our quarterback wouldn't have got hurt in the quarterfinal round of the playoffs. But one thing I did find out when I got out there, I can remember walking out to the championship game, and once again, I will promise you, it had nothing to do with me. I was a defensive coordinator. I have since apologized to many of those kids for everything that I told them during those 3 years of that run of great football seasons that we had, for everything that I told them that was so bad in the scheme of playing football. But I learned. But the one thing I did learn was this: is I remember walking out. I don't have time to talk about it, but my aspirations for my career were so low. And I thought they were awesome. They were so low. God will blow you out of the water when you want to do. He'll give you the desires of your heart, but then he'll add a lot to it. And so I thought I wanted to win state championships. I thought I did. I thought that was like the winning edge. Let's just go win go balls, and man, I'm gonna be the cat's pajamas, as Pastor George would say. And we did. The second year I was a coach, we did. And I remember walking out on the field, Lewis Field, OSU, championship game, Dinky, Crescent, Oklahoma. The whole town was up in the stands. I saw our police chief there. I said, buddy, who's guarding my stuff? He said, nobody. He goes, they won't take your stuff tonight, Darren. It's going to get taken. There's nobody left in town. And we won. We won the game. Easy. We had a crazy team. Some have called it the greatest Class A team to ever play. They could have won about any level because I've now coached at most of the levels. It was nuts. But I remember thinking this. I was walking on the field. Before the game, I was going, why doesn't it feel different than this? I should be a lot more excited about this than I am. I was excited, but I thought, it's not what I thought it would be. And then we got done, and I remember watching the kids. I remember watching everybody, and I remember thinking, man, is that it? Is this it? There's got to be something else getting ready to happen here. It didn't. Yeah, we got a championship. We got a go ball, got a championship ring, all those things. Those are cool. My dad has all those now. I don't even see him anymore. I hope he still got him. He might have sold them. But I got to figure out that that's not what it was all about. It wasn't about the material things. So through my career, I've gotten to coach for 3 Hall of Famers. A guy named Steve Richards. Let me back up. George Wagner was the first. He actually led Lincoln Christian for a little bit. But George Wagner in Crescent, Oklahoma, which will be in the Hall of Fame. He passed this fall. Great man. But then I coached for a guy named Steve Richards there in Crescent as well. He was a Crescent boy, came home to win a championship. He is in the Hall of Fame. Then I left there. I coached for a guy named David Fisher, which will be in the Hall of Fame. He's not yet. Actually, the passing game as it is in Oklahoma right now. But have you ever heard of a guy named Bill Blankenship? Maybe you have, or maybe you haven't. But Bill Blankenship and David Fisher about the same time brought a passing game to Oklahoma, and that is what it is today. And so he will be there. Then I coached for a guy named Rick Jones that is in the Coaches Hall of Fame here in Oklahoma. He's now at the University of Missouri. I coached for a guy named Alan Trimble at Jenks High School that is in the Hall of Fame. Probably heard of him if you know anything about high school football. Then I left there to go take Lincoln Christian in 2002. We started football for the most part. Pat Foster, one of my good friends, just kind of brought up the prospect of me coming to Lincoln from Jenks. It was a crazy thought at that time to be going from a team that we were on a 39-game winning streak and just finished number 2 in the nation 2 years running. And I went to start a program at a school that didn't even have, they had played a JV schedule. I think they played 6 games the year before and just start football at Lincoln Christian. Promise you it was God ordained. It was not Darren ordained at all. But got to go do that and finish my career as a football coach there. So That's what I got to do, and it was unbelievable. We didn't motivate kids. People have different thoughts on motivation, and I wasn't a motivator. I never felt like I wanted kids to learn life lessons. And I'm not going to say I was always right. I know I wasn't always right about everything, but I just knew this. I knew in life that there wasn't anyone walking around with me when life hit me in the mouth, motivating me. It better come from Jesus in me, and I better be driven, not motivated. So I really got to make some of those choices when I was a young person. And so what we did with our young people is I wanted to help them to learn to be driven. I didn't give big motivational speeches before the game. We prepared for games. We weren't going to go out there after the old adage, everybody, that motivational speech lasts about as long as you walking out there, and the first time you get hit in the mouth, that motivational speech goes out the window. Now what are you going to do if you get hit in the mouth? You better be driven. You better be driven. You better come from deep. We wanted to create tough people. Now, does football make you tough? It does not. But if you will work at it, and if you will listen and learn, and there are just some things that come from the game that will help you in your lifetime. So let me open this thing back here. I apologize. I thought I had myself prepped here, and I had great intentions, but I'm not a technology wizard. And Ben, I'm working on it, though. I'm working on becoming a technology wizard. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to just teach our young men habits, life-giving habits. Nothing you hear today is going to be revolutionary. I get asked often when I talk about football, my name in football is just that's what people want to talk about when I'm around them, just because I coached. And so I get asked from time to time, why did you win? Why were you, what were the great ones you were around? Why did they win? And so I just thought about that. I've just thought about it over the years. Why did we win? Was it because we ran really good offenses and really good defenses and our special teams were through the roof? And it really wasn't. It had nothing to do with it. If it was just offense and defense and special teams, wouldn't everybody win? There's a bunch of good offense and defense, especially. It's more than that. And I think you can take that, whether it's football or whether it's whatever you do. There are principles. There are principles that lead to success, and they have little to do with what you're doing. They have everything to do with this. They have to do with this. They have to do with this. And what I wanted for our young men to do, and what we were doing was partnering with parents. I didn't know those young men. I didn't feel like I can pour anything into them that parents didn't allow me to pour into them. So the one thing I did have, and I see Mr. Starr back there, we had wonderful parents at Lincoln Christian that allowed us to pour into young men. It was tough. We created some really tough situations for them, bordering on brutality at times, I think. But I just wanted them to be ready. I wanted Friday not to be easy. I wanted that to be the easy part. So we just talked about a lot of things. We talked about habits. Master the habits that matter the most. Successful people do consistently what others do occasionally. And so we just wanted to talk about that. There's nothing hard here, guys. We're not going to do anything extraordinary. And I think life's that way. We think, well, what do we have to do to be? I think it's just simple things. I think it's consistent things. So I just wanted our young men to think about those things, because here pretty soon they weren't going to be playing football anymore. That was going to go away. I've coached college football players, a few. I've coached a few NFL guys, a few, very few. They don't do it anymore. Now they're dads. Now they're husbands. Now they're business people, employees, friends, all of those great things that we are that have nothing to do with the game that we played. Nothing to do with that. And that's what we were coaching to. And I told our coaches, guys, we're coaching their hearts. We're going to coach to their hearts. These are not our servants. They may have felt like that sometimes, but they weren't. They did not. That's not what they were there to do. We're going to serve their hearts because one of these days, they're going to become all of the things I just mentioned. One of these days, I'm going to see them out in public, and I see them now. And they're not my players, and they're my friends. They're people that they have me. I tell them that, the seniors, they've captured me. You have me for the rest of your life. Here's my phone number. Put it in your phone. If you ever need me, dial it. That's what you have for me. That's all I can give you now. If I can help you, that's what I want to do. So we're going to do some simple things. Some of these you're going to laugh at. You know, we always talk, this word is mentioned probably way too often in our society, but it's true. But it's culture. And so what we wanted to do is create a culture. And I don't care where you're at or what you're doing or what you're part of. If you're a dad, if you're an employer, you've created a culture wherever you're at. It's either good or it's not good. There's going to be a culture. When there's that culture, we want to do that through character development. Develop character. There has to be some chemistry involved within that culture. How do we do that? We've got to get that figured out. They have to be competent. We're going to win some games. We've got to be good at what we do. But how do we do that? Is this all about just like running the 4-3 defense or running a one-back offense and spreading it out? It's not. Let's get a few things we do well and do them a lot of times in practice. I used to get accused. I remember Terry telling me, I said, hey, don't listen to people in the crowd. I mean, everybody's going to hate me. It's okay. It's all good, man. They have every right to. And it was always kind of funny what the things that she would tell me. I just laugh. But, you know, hey, everybody, I know what you're running. Good. I want you to know, I want to be so good at what we're doing that even though you know what's coming, we're going to ram it down your throat. It don't matter if you know what we're doing. Good. You've done a good job scouting us. We've done a good job scouting you. Simplicity. So we just wanted to do things over and over. So we had to be competent, and we wanted our kids to be communicators. Guys, do you ever get in trouble with the wife when you don't communicate? I do. Man, I'm trying to get better. This is my crusade this year. My word for the year is renewal. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute for just a little bit. But it's renewal. But it's just renewing the way I think about a lot of things. For an example, I mean, I'm going to be, I can't believe I'm even saying this. This month, I'll be 59 years old. That's hard to believe. Now, I used to think that was old. Man, that's a spring chicken. I had a friend turn 60 this week, and that's what I sent him. I said, man, you're a spring. He said, it's a big 6-0 today. I said, I know. You're a spring chicken, man. It's all good. It doesn't matter. It's a number. I'm not going to worry about my days. God said, don't worry about that. You can't add anything to it by worrying, so I'm not. I'm a spring chicken, man. This is what I am. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I wanted our culture to be so thick that when they walked into it, they either adjusted or it kicked them out. That sounds a lot worse than it probably is. But what does that mean? Well, a kid walks in, man, Coach, I don't want to do all of this. Now, we had this thing at Lincoln called a no-quit policy. So what it was is that basically if you started, you had to finish. Now, if you don't want to play next year, that's fine. But what did it do? Hey, finish something you start. That's all it was. It wasn't trying to keep anybody in prison for a season. Finish what you start. So here are some things. We do this with our guys all the time. Get up early. We did that a lot in the summer. 6 a.m. Toes on the line at 5:55. Bulldog time, that's what it was. 5 minutes before. You ask anybody that played for us, you ask them about Bulldog time. Yesterday, I met one of my former quarterbacks for coffee. And I pulled up and he saw me. I got there early. I just happened to be able to get up there way early. And he was already inside. He just texted me, he just said Bulldog time. That meant he was inside. He was already there. They know that. Be early. You happen to your day. Don't let your day happen to you. Okay? Don't hit the snooze. Doesn't mean they didn't. I have 2 boys. They like to hit the snooze. Don't hit your snooze. And I could talk about that one for about 15 minutes. There's a lot of things that go along with hitting snooze. Don't do that. Get up and happen to your day. Is that football stuff? Nope, that's life stuff. Get up and happen to your day. Bring energy. You know, life's full of choices. We get to make a choice every day. I got to make a choice this morning when I got up. Am I going to have a good day or a bad day? I get to make that choice. When someone says something to me, I'm an athletic director now. And there's a lot of negative that comes our way, and that's okay. I get to make a choice with how I'm going to respond to that. Is it going to be with kindness? Soft answer turns away wrath. Or am I just going to get back after them and just go to that level? I get to make that choice. Am I going to feel good today or bad today? Am I going to work out today? Am I not going to work out today? I get to make that choice. Life's just full of choices. And we get to make them. And the older I get, the more I know the whole thing is about my choice. And I just absolutely adore God Almighty for giving us choice. It's beautiful. But I get to make them. Are they always good? No, they're not. They're not always good. We get a choice. I told the guys, you get a choice every day. You going to bring energy or not? I know you get to go sit in the class for 6 hours, then go get your stuff on. The field's 128 degrees, the turf field, and we're going to go out and practice football for 3 hours. Make a choice. Do I have to go do that, or do I get to go do that? Make a choice. Is that about football? It has nothing to do with football. Zero. Life's about choices. Am I going to tell my wife I love her today, or am I not? It's a choice. How many more I love yous do I have on this earth? Me telling her. I don't want to be one of those guys that, or one of those people that has regrets. I'm pretty sure on my deathbed I'm not going to be thinking about how many championships we won, or man, how many rings I have, or man, what my reputation was, or I think I'm going to be thinking about the people that I love and love me. I hope I'm thinking about Jesus, my family. How did I give them, did I offer them anything at all? Did I serve them at all? My grandbabies, maybe I'll put them up right below Jesus. Maybe if I could have skipped that kid phase and gone to the grandkid phase, that would have been awesome, man. This grandkid thing is unbelievable. 3 little girls, incredible. Get to make a choice. We're going to outwork you. Everything revolved around toughness. Did you know you have to be tough to operate in this world? You better be. I have to be tough when I go to work. I have someone most days tell me how pathetic we are in our athletic department. Thank you. Am I going to let that attack my mind? There are days that, just like you, that are 18, 19-hour days. Do I have to do it? Do I get to do it? Am I going to cry about it? No, it's what I get to do. Toughness, grit. Grit. It's going away in our society. Our society's going soft. It's there. But I get to make a choice. So we wanted to instill in our young people toughness, grit. Through going through practices. We set them up to fail every single day. I wanted to put them in situations where there was failure, and I wanted to see how they respond. Because on Friday night, I had nothing to do with what they were doing on Friday. I had one time, one of our players came up and said, "Coach, well, you are so calm on Fridays. Why are you so angry during the week, and then on Fridays you don't ever say a word?" I said, "Because I'm your biggest fan. The hay is in the barn. I want to see how you're going to react, because one of these days no one's going to be with you when you get punched right in the face. That's why. Go play the game. Friday night needs to be easy. Is that football? No, it's life. It's just life." One thing we did, and I'm getting close here, guys, but one thing we did was, I talk about creating hardship. We had a thing at Lincoln called Summer Pride, and it was just tough. We just created it that way. It was tough. They were up there. They had to be there 5:55 toes on the line, like I said. And they had to go through a workout for 2 hours between being outside, running, and then inside and lifting. It was brutal. And we did it at 6. I said, guys, I'm being nice. This could have been at noon. We did it at 6, a little bit cooler, at 6 in the morning. But we created situations that were tough. I do it for myself now. I do things I don't want to do. I want to have something in my life all the time that's hard. I don't want to get used to soft because my nature is to be soft. So I do a few things that I don't want to do. I'll tell you one of them. I've got some that you'd laugh at, but this one, you might laugh at this one. But I run. I'm a runner. I tell myself that all the time. Darren, you're a runner. Now, when you see it, you may not think that. Short, chubby guys ought not run. But I do. Is it because I want to get in great shape? No, maybe that's a little bit of it. I want to do something that I don't want to do. It's hard. There are days I don't want to go. I'm on this little program thing. I've been on it for years. I just re-up it all the time. And there are days where I just don't want to go. No, you're going, buddy. You're going. Run through it. All those things you asked of those kids for 28 years and you're just going to decide you're not going to do it? Nah, we're going. We're going to go. Do something hard. The other thing we did is we're talking about mastering the mundane. Our practices were boring, mundane. Our kids, so something may happen. I was the head coach where I get captured. It might be one of the trainers needs to talk to me, or maybe somebody came from the school and needed something from me, or maybe the media showed up or something at a time that was inopportune. And I would look over and the kids would be running the drills. They'd be doing them on their own. They knew exactly the way practice was going to go. Master the mundane. What does that mean? Master the little things. So what it was to them was we were going to master running, throwing, tackling, stances. That stuff. That's boring in football. Master that because that's what wins. It's not running for vertical or running a smash or running the inside zone. That's not what wins. It's how you do it. It's toughness. It's all these things we're talking about. So how does that apply to life? Because you know what? If you think about it, if you let it, life, it's the mundane things that are most important. God willing, you're going to be married to the same gal for a long, long, long time. Do you think it's going to get mundane sometimes? It will if you let it. So are we just going to take this practice, guys? Are we just going to take this practice and this is boring? Or are we going to make a decision, we're going to spice this thing up and be enthusiastic about it? Your choice. Is your marriage boring, or are you going to spice it up and go take a shower and put your smelly good on and take her to a movie or whatever you do? Spice it up. We fight so hard to win those. I don't know why we're talking about this one, but we fight so hard to win these gals over. And then after a while, we're laying on the couch, gained about 40 pounds, and we don't smell very good. Think we'd have won them over that way? Preaching to myself here, okay? Master the mundane. What are the things in your life that have just gotten to be so rote, so just you're so used to it, you don't think about it anymore, that you can be enthusiastic about? God is a God of enthusiasm. He is the one that ordains it. And I pray for it all the time. God, help me to be enthusiastic. Please help me. I don't have it. I don't have it today. My wife needs it today. My football kids need me to be enthusiastic today. I need that. Help me. It's been a rough day. You know that. Help me with that. Keep the main thing the main thing. You don't have to get fancy. Master the mundane. How are your friendships? Who's your best friend in high school? When's the last time you communicated with them? I'd asked myself that a couple of weeks ago. We did everything together. We still visit. We were inseparable. He knows too much about me. I need to be massaging that relationship. He could put some bad things out there. Things like that. Things like that. That's mundane. Renew your mind. As a man thinks, so he is. As a man thinks, so he is. What do you think about? Well, God tells us what to think about. Think about things that are true, that are noble, that are right, that are lovely. He gives us a list of them. I spoke to the Lincoln girls basketball team the other day. I said I was there for a long time, and we went down that verse, and it was real quick, but I just put some things on there to think about that would relate to basketball. So how do you do? So that's how you think. So I'm getting better at this. I'll just make a list for that day when I've got stinking thinking going on. And what are some things I can think about that are admirable, that are praiseworthy, that are excellent? What are some things I can think about? Because, guys, I'll just tell you this. I'm a louse. And without Christ in me, I am nothing. I am zero. If he doesn't help me with that, I am in hot water. But thank God that he does. Renew your mind. Speak life into those around you. We had a big situation come up a couple of weeks ago in the athletic department. And it was, man, I wanted to have a bad attitude so bad. I wanted to have such a bad attitude. And my assistants came in, and we were discussing it, and we got done, and it was heavy. I said, guys, do we not have the best jobs in the whole world? We actually get paid to solve these problems. We get paychecks. Now, I have to talk myself into that. I'm not all that. I was still having some rugged thoughts. Yeah, I was talking to them, but I was also talking to me. I was talking to me. We've got great jobs. I do. I have a great job. I put down trust the process. Do what you're coached to do. I remember that. We all have bosses. I do. I lead an athletic department, but I have a guy over me. Do what I'm asked to do. That's what I tell our guys. Do what you're coached to do. Exactly. We prepare all week. Don't go off on your own thing. Don't do it. Trust the process. There's a process. Trust it. Trust those around you. We get to choose if we're going to trust. Give those in authority over you the benefit of the doubt. Control what you can control. Attitude, effort, grit. These are simple. I know. You're giggling on the inside. It's okay. I control my attitude. I control what kind of effort I give. Only you know how hard you work every day. That's it. You may look like you're working hard. Are you working hard? I have to ask myself that. I do. I really do. Sometimes I fall short. I have to turn it up a notch. And then my grit, my toughness. I can control that by deciding I'm going to have grit. I practice for it. But what's it going to be like when I really have to exercise it? Can I do it? Hope so. Know your role. Know your role. There were guys on our team that were the star. There were guys on our teams that weren't the star. There were guys on the team that were sitting over on the sideline with us. What's your role? Know what it is. Not everybody can be the star. Comparison steals joy. Man, Darren, Alan Trimble won 13 state titles. Why didn't God let me do that? I don't know. That's not for me to ask. He gave me what I have, and man, I am so thankful. I'm not Alan Trimble. I did not have to bear his cross. Tell the guys, I told them, don't compare yourself to anyone else. You have number one, it's you against you. There's only one you, and I don't need another star. I'd always take stars, but I don't need another, whoever that was, insert name here. I need you in what you were made to be. And listen, whoever's in this room, this world needs you in what God put in your DNA. Last thing, win the fourth quarter. Huge. We talked about it all the time. Win the fourth quarter. Don and I were just talking about this. I just feel like in America that our men are not good finishers. We hear of just people getting along in life and they have some type of moral failure, or we just get to where we just don't take care of ourselves, or just, I want to be a good finisher. And we always talk to our guys about, listen, here's how we're going to be in the fourth quarter. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be full of energy. Bring the energy. It's hot. We're tired. And I want them to be thinking, oh my goodness, are they still full of energy in the fourth quarter? We're in big trouble. I wanted to put that little seed of doubt in their mind. I'm probably in the fourth quarter of my life. That's okay. I absolutely love the fourth quarter. It's my favorite. We told our guys to hold up. We walked down the field. We did this. I love it. It's what I was built to be. When I think about that, man, I'm only 59. That's freaking awesome. I'm in the fourth quarter. I'm going to win the fourth quarter. We have to finish. So we talked to our guys about that. Hey, how do we finish in practices? How are we finishing in the weight room? What are you doing when nobody's looking? How are you finishing the game? Did we win them all? We didn't. It's one thing, when I looked at film, I looked at a lot of things, but I looked at what was the effort like in the fourth quarter. I think God may be doing the same thing with me. What is your effort like? What's it going to be like in the fourth quarter? Don't worry about when the end of the game. Don't worry about that. You worry about the time you're given. And that's him speaking to me. Football is such an awesome game. Absolutely loved it. It was the principles. There's so many more that we got to pass to the young men that were awesome, that I just know that there were things that I wanted to live, that I just felt like God had asked us to live. And so we got to impart those to the young men. And in the process, and it was a process, we won a few games, got to be a part of some cool things, and that was awesome. Athletics is probably way overblown in our society. It is. But there's some things within it that are absolutely applicable to becoming a young man in our culture. Don, thanks for asking me. Man, I appreciate you. I thank you for you guys letting me talk to you for a few minutes. And if I can ever help you in any way, Darren Melton, I'm at Broken Arrow High School. I'm here. Let me know. I would love to do that any way I can. And you have a great Saturday.
Let's give it up.